In the land where zinc roofs ground under the weight of rain, and secrets slip through compound walls like shadows in the wind, there lived a woman named Helen, a healer by trade, but a mother by calling. She walked the earth with sacrifice in her bones, a widow, a fighter, with only one treasure, her son, Stephen, a boy she raised like lioness raises her last cub, careful, fierce, and full of love. But in this life, not every hug is pure, not every sister is sister, and not every house that gives you shelter means you well. For when a woman opens her door with a smile, you must still ask, is this a home of safety or a shrine of desire marked as kindness? This is the story of broken trust, of a son who went too far, a friend who forgot boundaries, and a mother whose heart cracked beneath the roof she once called refuge. When the shelter broke, who did she blame? The storm, the house, or her own blood? Sit close, listen well, for even in today's world, the deepest wounds are not from strangers, but from those who once wiped your tears. The rhythmic tick-tick-tick of a leaky ceiling was the only sound in room 12, a constant maddening drum beat against the backdrop of a Lagos downpour. Outside, the rain lashed against zinc roofs, a furious symphony accompanying the near-flooding streets. Inside, Nurse Helen Okonkwo, 45, a woman etched with the lines of sacrifice and loss, folded her duty coat. Her son, Stephen, was her universe, a universe she had built brick by painful brick. She sighed, a deep exhalation of life lived for another. Then a soft knock. It grew louder, insistent. A brown envelope, like a harbinger of doom, slid under the door. Helen picked it up, her movement slow, heavy with a premonition she couldn't shake. Her eyes scanned the typed words, each one a hammer blow. You are hereby served a 30-day notice. The house will undergo immediate renovation. Kindly vacate. No tears came, just a chilling stillness. The rhythmic plop of water into the bowl on the floor was the only sound in the frozen tableau. That evening, Stephen, fresh from his NYSC graduation, burst in, brimming with the boundless optimism of youth. "Mommy, I ran into Tolu from my project group. He said there is an opening at their firm. I'll go tomorrow." Helen's only reply was the crumpled notice, handed to him in silence. His chest deflated as he read, the air leaving him in a mournful rush. He sat beside her, an arm around her, and in the quiet, the only sound was the leaking roof and the slow, agonizing breaking of something inside Helen. That night, clutching a night torch, Helen called her childhood friend Agatha. "Auntie Nurse, Helen the healer, what's this night call for?" Agatha's cheerful voice was a stark contrast to Helen's raw whisper. Agatha, I'm finished. The dam burst, years of suppressed pain erupting into a torrent of tears. Agatha, stunned, listened patiently before cutting through the sobs with firm resolve. "Leave that house. Come here, I mean it. My house is big. Stay with me for now. Both of you, no shame." Helen, wiping her face on her wrapper, whispered a tearful, "Thank you," a lifeline, thrown just in time. By Sunday, they were at Agatha's grand 2-story house. Marble tiles gleamed, and the air was softly scented with vanilla, a stark contrast to their humble flat. Agatha, alone in a house built for 6, embraced them both. "Welcome, my people," she beamed. "Helen, this is your home now." "Stephen, this your height, eh? You don't turn man fool you." Stephen, a deep blush rising on his neck, thanked her. That night, Helen cried again, but these were tears of profound relief. The storm had passed, for now. Stephen, with his youthful vigor, quickly became the man of Agatha's house. Within a week, he fixed the leaky kitchen faucet, rewired the faulty extension box, and swept the compound with a tireless enthusiasm that left him glistening with sweat. One afternoon, as Helen watched him, a genuine laugh bubbled up. "Agatha, how did you train him?" Agatha's eyes, however, lingered on Stephen a bit long as he scrubbed the veranda, his shirt clinging to his impressive physique. "This boy is bold," she declared, her voice a little too admiring, a subtle tremor of something unsaid in the air. Helen, lost in her own relief, didn't notice the flicker. The first twist of the knife came softly. One night, while Helen was on her night shift, Agatha sat alone in the sprawling parlor, the house's silence amplified by her loneliness. She coughed, a little too dramatically. "Stephen," she called out, her voice deliberately weak. He ran downstairs, concern etched on his face. "Ma, are you okay?" She clutched her chest. "I feel faint." He helped her onto the sofa, brought water, loosened her wrapper, and began to massage her palm. His touch was gentle, almost tender. She looked up at him, her gaze lingering, and for the first time in years, something she hadn't felt in decades stirred within her. He met her eyes, their faces mere inches apart, her breath shallow. The air thrummed with unspoken tension, a silent question hanging between them. But then, with a sharp intake of breath, she pulled away. "Good night, dear." A close call, a fleeting moment of madness. Or was it? The second time, Helen was again at work. This time, Agatha's dizzy spell was a more convincing performance. Stephen, ever the protector, rushed to her side. But as he helped her, her hand, supposedly weak, lingered a fraction too long on his waist. "Thank you, Stephen. You are a good boy." He looked down, a blush creeping up his neck. "Auntie, you're beautiful." The words hung in the air, a whisper that shattered the fragile barrier between them. They stared, a silence pregnant with forbidden desire. Then, slowly, inevitably, their lips met. Agatha pulled away, breathing heavily, a desperate whisper escaping her. "Stephen, don't. You don't know what you're doing." But he was resolute, his voice a low thrum against her ear. "But I do." The line had been crossed. Night after night, Helen's absence became their forbidden playground. Agatha began to wear silky robes, their fabric whispering promises as she moved. Stephen, once the innocent helper, started knocking softly at her bedroom door. Guilt, a persistent and unwelcome guest, was always there, a dull ache in their consciences. But the raw, undeniable pull of desire was stronger, a raging current sweeping them away. They promised to stop, each time a sullen, desperate vow, and each time they succumbed, again and again and again. The house, once a sanctuary, was becoming a silent witness to a terrible secret. Helen, with the sharp instincts of a nurse and a mother, began to notice the subtle, unsettling shifts. Agatha, once practical and unassuming, now wore perfume, a heavy, cloying scent that seemed to cling to her like a second skin. Red lipstick, a bold, defiant slash of color, adorned her lips. Stephen, her son, was quieter, jumpy, his gaze often averted, a new reticence in his demeanor. The easy warmth that had once filled their temporary home was replaced by a strange tension, a palpable secret hanging in the air. Then came the shocking discovery. While arranging painkillers for Agatha, Helen's fingers brushed against a crumpled note tucked under a novel. Her heart thudded a warning beat as she unfolded it. "Last night still feels unreal. You taste like hope. S." The single initial, the chilling words. Helen dropped the note as if it had burned her, the truth searing itself into her mind. The scattered pieces of a puzzle, once incomprehensible, clicked into place, forming a picture of unimaginable betrayal. A week later, the final brutal twist arrived. Helen returned early from her shift, A sudden power outage at the hospital sending her home unexpectedly. The house was dead silent, an unnatural hush that prickled her skin. A terrifying premonition tightened its grip on her as she climbed the stairs, her footsteps soft, hesitant. Agatha's bedroom door was slightly ajar, then a low moan, then another, drifted out, chilling her to the bone. Her blood ran cold. With trembling hands, she pushed the door open. A slow, agonizing creak. There they were, her friend, her son, intertwined, naked. Time stopped. A universe collapsing around her. Helen's scream tore through the silence. A raw, primal sound of pure agony and disbelief. Stephen fell off the bed, naked, scrambling in a desperate attempt to cover himself. Agatha, pulling the sheet over herself, buried her face in her hands, a mask of weeping shame. "Helen, please!" But Helen backed away, clutching her chest, her mind reeling, trying to comprehend the unthinkable. "Stephen! Agatha! You! Stephen, his voice choked with tears, cried out, "Mommy, I didn't plan it. I am sorry, I swear." Agatha, sobbing, offered a pathetic, self-serving excuse. "He awakened something in me. I didn't plan it either." Helen, her voice a broken whisper, uttered the words that will ever sever their bond forever. "You were my sister." And then the world blurred, and she collapsed to the floor, her heart shattering into a million irreparable pieces. The next morning, the silence in the house was heavy with the weight of unspeakable sorrow and irreversible damage. Helen packed, her movements stiff, mechanical, her face devoid of emotion. Stephen begged her, his voice raw with despair. "I will never touch her again. Mommy, please, I am lost without you." But she couldn't even look him in the eye. The betrayal was too deep, the wound too fresh, the image seared into her mind. She walked out, bags in hand, her eyes swollen and red, a silent testament to her broken spirit. Stephen followed, barefoot, weeping, his desperate pleas echoing in the empty air. Agatha watched from the balcony, her face pale, a ghost of her former self. The once vibrant home now a desolate monument to shattered trust. 1 year later, Bariga, a small, cramped, face-me-I-face-you apartment. Helen now lived alone, the echoes of her past a constant haunting companion. Sometimes a slow, hesitant smile will grace her lips, a fragile sign of healing, a testament to her resilience. Stephen came to visit often, a regular pilgrimage of remorse and desperate hope. But their bond, once an unbreakable steel cable, was now a fractured, delicate thread, scared by the unforgivable. "Will you ever forgive me?" he asked one day, his voice barely a whisper, the question hanging heavy in the air between them. Helen looked at him, then out the window, her gaze distant, reflecting on the adult's journey she was still undertaking. Forgiveness is a river. Healing is the bridge. I am still crossing. The journey was far from over, and the path ahead remained uncertain. But she was still walking. What do you think will happen to Agatha? Will Stephen find true redemption? Some storms don't announce themselves with thunder. Some come through friendship, through blood, through lust. But when the roof that once sheltered you becomes the blade that cuts you, where do you run? When the shelter breaks, what do you rebuild first? The house or your soul?